Good morning. I'm so happy. I'm so happy that you're joining today for this transmission. Now, for the next couple of weeks, we're gonna go more deeply into understanding our connection with ascended masters and star races, some of the differences between them, and how we can communicate with them. Why is it important for us to be able to create this unique personal connection with our beautiful spirit guides? So I thought I would actually start this theme with this introductory session that is going to allow us to understand more of the difference between ascended masters and star races. So when I talk about them, who are they and what does it mean exactly to be talking about, on one hand, ascended masters and on the other hand, star races? So if you don't know me, my name is Sandrine. I am a spiritual teacher, mentor, and coach. And I am here to help people become sovereign being by remembering who they are as multidimensional being, by helping people understand their unique soul and soul purpose. Why are we here? So if you enjoy this transmission, if you enjoy what I share, I would love it if you could simply give a little thumb up or bring a comment down if you're watching on YouTube, or you can also share it with your friends. Tag me if you posting it on your stories on Instagram and so on. I love it. I just love hearing from you, and I love that this message gets shared, because the more we share, the more we can uplift each other by sharing beautiful codes of high frequencies that are going to help people open up their consciousness and therefore embrace more of their multidimensionality. If you are watching live, I would love to know where you are from, what time it is, where you are, so I can connect energetically with you. Even if you're on the replay, simply type in the comment, oh, watching from here. It's always nice to really feel the international community that is there. Yes, from Chicago. I love this. So today, I will touch a little bit on understanding the main differences between working with ascended masters and star races. During all that I share, so it's here on YouTube, but it's also during Pathway 1 and Pathway 2, my two new programs that are launching at the end of April, which are super awesome. It's so exciting. And all the work that I do, basically, one-on-ones and so on, everything is always from me co-creating with spirit guides, co-creating with star races and ascended masters, and also dragons and earth elementals and animal spirits and the earth realms and so on. And how is that possible? It's possible because I am in constant connection with my own soul on a multidimensional level. So it means that every day I just work on feeling completely soul aligned, fully anchored into my sovereignty. I have refined over many years of teaching about spirituality, and especially intuition and psychic abilities. And also because I was born with this gift, I have learned to have my channel nearly constantly on. So I would say that it's not on simply, it's not that it's not on, it's just that I am not kind of like talking to my spirit guys when I'm doing really earthly things, when I'm hanging out with my friends, when I'm hanging out with my kids, and so on. But still, my channel is there in a way that if information needs to come, information will come. It's always open. Okay. So every time I sit and I consciously start sharing with you guys, it means that it is possible for me to receive messages from them. Now, there is this understanding that with the architecture of life, there is the oversoul network that has many different projections in different realities. We are only one of these projections. And that a lot of us, actually, what happens is that we're going to start connecting with projections from our oversoul network. And these are the first beings, non-physical being, that we come in touch with, because literally they're super familiar, because it is us experimenting in alternate reality through different spectrum of frequencies. And it is interesting to know and realize that many of us struggle with understanding that and accepting that, because we think, oh, I couldn't that couldn't possibly not be an aspect of myself, because I'm so imperfect in this reality here on earth. I'm not a master. How could I be this and this amazing being, an ascended masters, when I'm actually just, it's just me. And I've had a lot of work to do on myself around that, like my sense of self-worth, and so on. So I could actually simply sit with humility and also purity and clarity into saying, okay, so actually what I do is that I channel myself through different aspects of myself. And most of the time, this is totally what happens. All of the content is so wise, it is so pure and so advanced and so effortless for me to share that I'm blown away. I was like, well, my human self is awesome, it's very cool, but to start with, might not have like these very profound light bulbs and downloads and wisdom coming at all times, because, like I'm still human processing a lot of things. And at times my brain's simply not functioning either. And this really nice dance that we can have with ourselves into saying, yes, like I'm human and I'm catching up to remembering how awesome I am, but I am not going to prevent me from tapping into higher level of frequencies that I am, this higher level of information that I am, that I have within me, because I feel that I'm not there yet. So it's like this really nice dance in terms of self-growth into knowing who we truly are beyond time and space reality, and also seeing where we are at now and seeing this kind of like points as simply the dance of coming back with the self, the sense of merging back with the self. And that happens organically. We're not in a rush to get there. Every single day that we pass, we're literally getting closer and closer to become a conscious embodiment of this multidimensional being that we are. So being able to come from this angle of perspective into understanding or connection with the beings that come in our field, I think is really important, because it allows us to have a high level of innocence and purity, allowing ourselves to bypass all of the veils of illusions that our ego still clings onto, and that might prevent us from actually realizing that we are in deep connection with advanced beings. Some of these advanced beings are us, but if some are not, they're still there because we are at the same level as us. Like basically, we are frequency match to them. This is why they come. And maybe we don't feel a frequency match to them now, but we can keep an opening into our consciousness that we are a frequency match to them now. Somewhere, somehow within ourselves, we are just remembering that our human is just catching back to that. So I hope that you understand a little bit what I'm trying to explain here, which is always my challenge as teaching quantum multidimensionality of embodying our infinite soul. You can imagine that it has few challenges in terms of explaining that in human language, so people understand what it's all about. One of the main difference that I find when I work with Ascended Masters and star races into these differences is that Ascended Masters, they came on Earth for a very long time. So it means that they have really endured a lot of suffering. So it's not that there is a certain amount of life that they must have had to be able to be an Ascended Masters. It's more of the depth of their humanity in terms of experiencing suffering into the 3D matrix system that we have had. Ascended masters have come in times that were extremely challenging, and then they did this whole journey into understanding their suffering, overcoming their suffering, and then basically finding their own mastery so they could then start sharing it with others. So ascended masters, they really have this journey of self-realization first, and then teaching second. Teaching, mentoring, guiding, healing, like basically service, divine service to others. So some ascended masters, they lived through golden ages, such as Hathor, for example. So it's not that she lived through intense suffering herself, and she's not the only one. Some other ascended masters, not so many, because with the timelines of humanity it was mostly suffering in many places, but we also had golden civilizations where people like Hathor and others, in Atlantis, Lemuria, the Incas, Mayas, and so on, and ancient civilizations, when they were born in golden civilizations, when they did not have intense level of sufferings at all, and then they reach ascended levels master. And that happened because of the level of devotion that they had into understanding the unique soul blueprint and how to become the multidimensional being that they are in this physical experience. So basically they chose accelerated pathway of evolution as their journey, and they really went for it, and basically they reached the level of mastery that was unprecedented in their civilization, and therefore they also started teaching, sharing, healing, and so on. So that is really what I find fascinating with ascended masters. And when I talk about ascended masters, as I said, there's Hathor, there's Isis, like I work as well a lot with Sekhmet, so that would be the Egyptians one. I work a lot with Mary Magdalene and Jesus Christ, with Green Tara, with White Buffalo Woman. If you have read the Sophia Code, I work with all of them very closely now. I have worked with Ascended Masters from this earth for a very long time. Also, some of them are more more shamanic, and others they are from Gnostic Christianity, all sorts of traditions, all sorts of culture. And what I have found absolutely beautiful and mesmerizing with them is the amount of really like deep understanding of what it's like to be a human, because they know what it's like to have gravity, to have craving for food, to love sex, to want nice things, like beautiful material, to wear us clothes, to have nice homes, and so on. So they know these attractions of the senses, this tendency that we have to be sucked by our senses, and that therefore we forget at times that we are multidimensional beings, because this reality is so anchored into this, like, let's be here and now, because of all these material things that we have, with all of this gravity that we have. Like, they know what it's like to easily feel lost in that, and then to having to come back to the self, to transcend that, to learn how to deal with that in their own unique way, their own unique fashion, through their own spectrum of understanding, of reality, to then find this place of pure freedom, of abundance, of divine connection, love, and service in this reality, and then show that to others, how to alleviate these hooks that we have with physical reality. And most of them, they always encourage us to stay very present in the physical body and to really find pleasures on earth as doorways to ascension. So it's not so much the ascended masters I work with, they are not here to deny the pleasures of experiencing life on earth, because that's one of the reasons why we come here. They say you learn how to handle all the pleasures of life on earth, the abundance, prosperity, fun, and joy, and ecstatic creation that you are here to birth relentlessly over and over again. You are going to learn to do that as a master, as a free being, completely embodying your multidimensionality here. And that's extremely powerful. So they don't come here to say, yeah, it's shit, let's do everything we can to just live as fast as we can. No, it's the opposite. They say, you came here, how can you ground yourself more? How can you be more present for yourself and for humanity? As a guide, now that you're reaching the level of mastery yourself, how can you guide others? And each ascended master has so it's interesting because there's always all of these conversation about truth that we find have many similarities, yet they are all spoken through different channels differently. So it's like that with the Ascended Masters. They all talk about similar truth, but it's just from different angles. So it's fascinating to learn with them. It's fascinating to co-create with them. This is the entire journey that we're going to go through pathway 1 of soul alignment. This is why the Ascended Masters are so present for pathway 1 of soul alignment, because they are here to help students understand how magical it is to be a divine human being. A divine human being is someone that freaking loves their physical body to bits, like unconditionally, that loves their physical life unconditionally, and that can do that with the level of mastery and detachment that are going to allow them to therefore create a better reality for themselves and then others. And this is why they come really like holding all of these frequencies of pathway 1 of soul alignment. So if you're interested to work more closely with them, to understand how you can co-create with them and how they teach us to become sovereign being, fully soul aligned in your uniqueness in this reality, then you will love studying with us, you know? So I would love to invite you to join, because enrollments are open now, which is always good, you know, to take time to really dive deep into all of that for a 5-month journey with us, which is going to be hugely transformational. And I am so happy and I'm so grateful that I have the capacity to be able to be there, you know, for the students, and to be there for you on this transmission, to bring messages from them. So during the next couple of weeks, I will share a lot about them. I will see if I do first star races or Ascended Masters. I think star races are going to come fast, but Ascended Masters, you will really want to be there and listen to what they have to say, because we're going to work through different themes that are very human. They are very grounded. We're going to work through things that are super relatable. You know, it can be parenthood, it can be money frequency, it can be work-life balance, it can be connection with the earth, it can be pain in the body, diseases, illnesses. It can be all of these themes that are so grounded into our experience and that are so real and palpable that it's like a soft touch of an angel, because they're angels, they're of angelic frequencies. So that's super exciting. So that's some of the characteristics that I have found Ascended Masters have. And something that is quite different from working with star races is that a lot of star races, actually, they did not have many embodiments on Earth. Some of them have had some, but a lot never came here. And the beauty, so let's talk about these two. So some star races, they have been on Earth and they have come sporadically, a little bit here, a little bit there, in terms of physical embodiment for their own purpose of experimentation, evolution, and physicality. It's just that, yes, that was good, but they would prefer, they have preferred to continue the journey of evolution in their own star system, in other star system, for so many reasons. And now they simply come in terms of being projected through their holographic representation that they choose to have, which is a star race. So they can be like, they choose like, all right, now I just like experiencing with Arcturians frequencies. So as I co-create with Sandrine, I will continue co-creating as Arcturian frequencies, because this is exactly what I'm playing with right now, what I'm evolving with right now. And so therefore we connect with them like this. So it is just very in-depth, and it's challenging for me not to go like all the way to the, you know, architecture of life and explaining all of this, because it's just too much for this. Like that's part of the teachings I share in the pathways, but right now it's like too heady. So there are also star races that have come in terms of spiritual embodiment of the multidimensionality, that have chosen the path of mastery on Earth, and they became Ascended Masters. For example, typical many Syrians have been in ancient Egypt, such as Hathor, Isis, Sekhmet, and so on, myself included, for this kind of architecture. It's like, okay, so we are masters on Sirius and we also masters on Earth. And it gives like really huge knowledge, huge tool sets to be able to help. And then in ancient Egypt, they were these portals being open and also shape-shifting abilities. So Ascended Masters, Hathor, and all the Hathor Star Nation, they could shape-shift. Many of them could shape-shift into other avatar where their soul was projecting on Sirius, for example. So this is a little bit sometimes interwoven there, right? Okay, because as multidimensional beings, we all have different representation of ourselves in different reality. No, okay, going back for purpose of clarity here, when we personally connect with star rays, we can perceive them through, okay, that's an Arcturian, that's a Syrian, that's an Andromedan, that's a Blue Avian, a Laren, a Palladian, and so on. And therefore, it means that there are certain specific frequencies that they shine through as codes that they are embodying in these star systems. And we're going to go through that in the next couple of weeks to understand that more. And it means that if we're receiving this connection, it's because we are also working ourselves on certain pathways of evolution around that. So maybe with the Palladians, we're working on like connecting more with communities and connecting more with the earth and how to co-create with the communities and earth and, you know, like-minded people into more like group scenarios and events and so on. If we start co-creating with Arcturians, it could be that we're on a path of healing, or that we are a healer ourselves, or that we are here to simply learn to use our voice more, and so on and so on. So many of us, we're going to co-create with star races that we have already connections with. And it could be that we are also projecting there. So it's simply like it's us, simply through different frequency spectrum. But it could also be that it's our family, that we have spent a lot of time there. But it could also be that simply some of them are coming because there's this agreement between our two souls, between our oversoul network, that we're going to help each other in this reality. And so they come, and like before, we were not really co-creating, but like right now in this reality, we co-create together. Okay? So some star races, they come because they know us very close, they are us, so they know us very closely, and they're going to stay for a while. And then for others, they just come sporadically, like Arcturians at the moment, and for a couple of years, and they will continue doing that. They come for many, many people that they don't even have a long connection with, that they're not going to stay there with. It's just that there's a soul agreement, which is not a contract. This is simply a soul connection that is happening in the now, saying, yes, I would benefit from receiving quantum surgery right now, because with the process of awakening and accelerated evolution that we are experiencing on Earth right now, I need help. Because like literally my human neural pathways, intuition, and like kind of experimentation with life, we can feel there's a lot of resistances. Can we please receive assistance from Arcturians into having cosmic surgery when we sleep? So this is why Arcturians are performing a lot of cosmic surgery on humans at the moment. And yes, it is always and only because the soul accepts that. Okay, they would never do anything that is not wanted. Yes, they literally respect our sovereignty at the highest. So this is a little bit about a few differences between star races and ascended masters, and how we can co-create with them, how we can understand them. Of course, for that, we learn to develop our channel, we learn to develop our gifts and abilities. We work on ourselves as well, so we can become a frequency match to them, because it is important to do the inner work. So we do the inner work to heal and alchemize, past traumas and wounds and limiting beliefs and fears, because all of that is density, and it is more challenging to enter in clear communication with them if we have a lot of density, because it creates a distortion in terms of frequency. So they are always there. It's not that they're going to say, "Ooh, look, she's dense right now, she's processing right now, she's full of trauma, she's got entities on her, so we're just going to ignore her, like not high vibe enough." No, all of these beings, they're benevolent beings. They have like huge amount of unconditional love. Like it's not even possible to describe. So they're just going to be there. They're not going to let us, they're just not going to let us go and forget about us because we are in density. Look at these poor humans in density, not high vibe enough for us. No, they are here to show us that they can be there. They can do everything they can to hold space, to share codes and frequencies. It's just our ability to receive it that makes the difference in terms of this connection. Are we allowing our heart to open up to love, to following our heart desires, to love each other more? Are we opening up our being into seeing some of our shadows with so much love and respect that they can be healed and alchemized with ease? Are we allowing ourselves to receive some guidance that is going to be confronting and challenging, uncomfortable at times? But we're going to be able to bring that within our heart to feel the alignment of it and then perceive the work that we must do to be able to get there, to become that version that we know we are and we are heading towards. So this is really refining all of this understanding on this process of co-creation with ascended masters and star races. If you're interested in refining this process of co-creation and that you already have done work on yourself in terms of healing and alchemizing traumas, belief system, and so on, then you will love Pathway 2, which is starting at the end of April. And Pathway 2 is all about co-creation. So I go really in depth with all of this. We go deep into channeling, we go deep into transmutation, we go deep into understanding all of these, amazing beings that we connect with. So Pathway 1 is all about soul alignment with ascended masters. Pathway 2 is all about co-creation with star races and ancient civilizations. Okay? I would love to invite you to join, and you can find more information on my website, sandrines.com. Also remember that every month around the full moon, I give a group trance journaling session, and that's very small price, and you can save your seat for that now. It's also on my website. And this month, so in about 2 weeks, we're gonna learn more about abundance and freedom, and there's gonna be so much wisdom shared from ascended masters and our fundamental on how we can become the embodiment of the highest level of abundance and freedom that is available to us. Also understand the difference between the rules in our 3D metric system, 4D and 5Ds, also metric system in this reality on Earth right now, with abundance and freedom, and the actual laws of the quantum universe, the really purest level of love, of laws around abundance, prosperity, and freedom. So we can see the differences existing, and therefore we can choose to place ourselves with the frequencies of the laws of the universe and deal with the rules of the 3D metric system, therefore becoming more of a master with money, but also abundance of time, abundance of health, abundance of love, of fulfilling a relationship. And freedom, what does it mean to be free in this reality? How can we embody more of the purity of freedom right here, right now, no matter what? So you guess it, that's going to be a so super potent transmission, and I would love to invite you to join, and you can do so now. And the link will be placed here in the comments below, and also on my website, sandrines.com. So I had a really good time chatting with you. Thank you for being there from Chicago, Germany, Hawaii, England, and much more. I love you all, and I will see you another time. Bye.